Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Zems, and welcome back to Rod Mango's Diddy list. If you guys haven't seen the last episode, make sure you go stop by and go check that out because I'm telling you, some of your favorite stores may have been listed, maybe even some of your favorite celebrities. But some of you are further in the trial than I am, but I am doing these videos in 1 hour increments, so if you haven't seen the last video, make sure you go stop by and go check it out because you may be lost in the sauce. This video is by Rod Mango, so if you guys haven't already, make sure you swoop down to the description box, click on a link, and watch the video in entirety because I'm going to be pausing, stopping, and talking through the whole thing. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Zems, and welcome to the Crow's Nest.
Felt drugged. The lawsuit alleges that he was guided into one of these smaller rooms where, quote, he observed approximately a dozen individuals, including several well-known figures who were engaging in group activities. The lawsuit reads, at this moment of realizing his significant impairment, Combs approached plaintiff, John, and removed his pants and began performing non-consensual oral sex onto him. Combs then directed John to perform oral sex on another individual in the room known as Celebrity A. Due to the haze of the drug he had been clandestinely served, John Doe could not resist Combs' coercion and ordering. He felt trapped inside of his body, unable to control it and understand what was happening around him. As a result, John Doe was forced to perform non-consensual oral sex onto Celebrity A. After Celebrity A finished, this individual spit into plaintiff's mouth. The lawsuit further alleges, while in and out of consciousness, individuals at the party forced plaintiff into sexual acts with both men and women, and, quote, these individuals, including Combs, essentially passed plaintiff's drugged body around like a party favor for their sexual enjoyment. When plaintiff finally regained consciousness, he found himself outside of his apartment, disoriented, without a shirt and without his phone. Plaintiff is unaware who took him back to the apartment or how he got there. He alleges that this happened on the night of the BET Awards.
That's crazy.
Was that another one that was mentioned earlier?
This is the further.
The same.
Yes, but
same
more
person?
detail. Yes.
Same person. Okay.
In another allegation filed in a lawsuit, Jane Doe claims she was invited to a party in December of 2022. She claims she noticed all of Diddy's employees at the house party pushing drugs onto the guests, the staff. She alleges she only drank a single glass of wine, where the allegation is she felt trapped inside of her body, and then Diddy allegedly essayed her. The lawsuit reads, plaintiff discovered blood on her legs from her vaginal area and bruising on her hip. She also found deep imprints on her arms and wrists, suggesting that she had been tied with ropes. Additionally, she felt
What kind of
significant
unknown
pain and
drug is
soreness
this?
in her vaginal region. Do you know who Aaron Hall is?
No, but he doesn't look
He's a
real.
huge R&B singer from back in the day. He was listed as one of the defendants in one of the lawsuits. Liza Gardner alleges in her lawsuit that Diddy and Aaron Hall had taken her and her friend back to Aaron Hall's apartment for a party. This was way back then. And Liza remembers being offered more drinks and coerced into having intimate relations with Diddy. She alleges that after Diddy was done, she just laid in the bed, shocked and traumatized. As soon as she's trying to get dressed, Aaron Hall allegedly barges into the room, pins her down, and forces her to have intimate relations with him. When he finally leaves her alone, she claims she quickly got dressed, ran out of there, and her friend was also allegedly essayed by the two. She said that they swapped rooms. So while Diddy was allegedly essaying Liza, Aaron Hall was with her friend, and then they, quote, swapped and they switched. Liza thought perhaps the nightmare was over, but a few days later, she states that her door to the apartment slams open, Diddy runs in and allegedly starts choking her until she passes out. She said that he was scared that the girls were going to tell his girlfriend at the time what happened. Not the police, but the girlfriend.
Which was?
I believe not someone famous at the time.
Okay.
Aaron Hall, the R&B singer, he hasn't responded to the allegations, but an old interview of his has been popping back up. It's pretty bad. Some netizens feel as if he has admitted right then and there, but it's up for you to decide. A lot of people remember him being one of the smoothest, more romantic R&B singers back in the day, but turns out he likes to brag about being a pimp.
Nah, what's the one dude's name?
Because
Put that
his
woman
grandfather
first was
a pimp.
smooth. I
He
think
also
that's his name.
states
I don't
in an
remember his name.
interview, girls with the, quote, fresh out the pussy shit think they can get a man like Aaron Hall. I'm historical dick. They f with me, it's a big dick. Everybody know my son's mother.
What?
Furthermore, he states that the mother of his son is a puppy because he impregnated her when she was 16 years old. He refers to her as a puppy because she was a minor, and he was in his 30s at the time. He states, I didn't know she was a puppy. Sometimes when I see a puppy on the field when I'm dog training, I think it's a year or two old, and it'd be like 8 months, so I don't know. So when I saw her, everybody was trying to get at her, so I took her.
I didn't know she was a puppy, you know what I mean?
That's right.
She was tall, she was big, blonde hair, bone with the black patent leather. I was like, I'm getting that.
The whole interview is a bizarre telling on himself rant. He continues, "If you can't handle my dick, you ain't getting my last name. So I've been single for 50 years. If a bitch touch my dick and say my dick is small, then she's a lying bitch." He goes on to rant about how everyone he knows
I
how
believe
he
it.
fucks. That's his words, quote.
Like, you can't make this stuff. People probably like, when he was back there on the stage, the girls was probably throwing all kind of brassieres and shirts and all kind of stuff on stage, man. That's crazy. For this, oh man, that's so sad. Like, it makes you like believe it. Like, you just talking like that outright in public. Imagine what he's doing in private. You know what I mean? I want to see the list already. I'm sitting on edge. Like, I'm ready to see the list.
And how large his, quote, dick is. Even Puffy and Jodeci have seen him fuck. They know. That's his claim.
Like, if you the Jodeci or Puffy or any of them niggas, they been at my house. They all see me. They all know I'm a big nigga.
Yeah.
He was 50 years
And the interviewer's
old.
like, yeah. I'd be like,
At
what?
this interview?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he's like 60 now. And he's like screaming these things. It's very scary. He admits in the podcast, "I can say to you that I've smacked a lot of bitches and gone off on a lot of bitches, but it's because I've never been raised or had my mother cook me any meals." So he's saying it's his mom's fault
No,
that
bro.
he beats women? He says when you're with a girl, you don't go nowhere unless we say go somewhere. I just personally feel like he should not be allowed alone with any woman or child or really any other sane human being within like a 1 mile radius of him.
Facts.
He also states if he goes into a studio and a guy is arguing with a girl, then he goes off on that girl without even knowing what's going on because he doesn't want his friend to be perceived as weak.
That's crazy.
That is like the most weakest insecure video I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it's not necessarily an admission of guilt per se, but a lot of netizens have read in between the lines, or rather the lack thereof, and the comments read, "Let them talk long enough and they will tell on themselves."
Facts.
Just hearing him speak, I believe every word that woman has said. Diddy's attorneys have responded. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason and without any proof. Which, side note, I mean, yeah, but technically, what about the indictment? Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail against these and other baseless claims in court. Tony Busby claims there are plans in the works to sue several other celebrities who allegedly helped Diddy cover up the essay at his parties. In fact, Tony hints at the fact that a few A-list celebrities have already settled with victims in private. He says, because it's in the best interest of the victims, we attempt to resolve these matters without the filing of a public lawsuit. And we have done that already. We've done that with a handful of individuals, many of which you've heard of before, and we will continue to do that.
Who is this Tony Busby?
He's a fascinating attorney. He has some interesting political views. He has parked a tank outside of his house. He's a larger than life character that I would say, if he were not representing victims, people would not really like this man very much.
I see.
I think that he's involved in a lot of high profile lawsuits. I know that he is like suing the NFL right now or something like that. Something to do with sports. He's
For
going
what?
up against a huge sports team or something.
I see.
Some people think that he's an ambulance chaser. Some people think, I mean, technically he could file as many lawsuits as he wants with enough due diligence and he can get all the good press he wants. So we don't know, right? He states that people are going to be very shocked at the names that will come out during the course of this investigation. He states the youngest of his clients was 9 years old at the time of the alleged assault. He states that the young boy was taken from an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. They were allegedly sexually abused by Diddy and several others in the studio on the promise of getting him a record deal. So in regards to the new lawsuits filed, it appears in response to attorney Tony Busby, Diddy's attorneys have called the barrage of lawsuits a, quote, clear attempt to garner publicity. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts, their legal defense, and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail. That Mr.
Always. The
Combs has
truth
never
always comes
essayed
out.
anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. In response,
No one says the same thing about you for years and years on end. Like, it's just not happening. Like, now all the lawsuits that were before this even came out to the public, no one's saying the same thing about you every year, every day, throughout the whole year. Rumors can be rumors, but for it to keep popping up like it did over time and no one was paying attention to it, now they're like, oh yeah, you know, he has money. Everybody knew Diddy had money way before all this happened. It's not the case. The case is him and a bunch of A-list celebrities, a lot of these other companies that may not be named, are paying out of the pocket right now to keep their name out of it. But hopefully there's something inside the judicial system to where they're able to still at least give a name to some of these people, because not only is it affecting the victims, it's also affecting their followers, the people that look up or are inspired by some of these actors and stuff like that. And they may not know who they're supporting.
Diddy's legal team have made some filings of their own. One, to identify the anonymous victims that have filed lawsuits against Diddy. The filing states, requests that the court direct the government to identify its alleged victims so that Mr. Combs can prepare for trial, stating that due to the high-profile nature of the case, quote, this has had a pervasive ripple effect, resulting in a torrent of allegations by unidentified complaints spanning from false to outright absurd. Counsel for these accusers, alluding to Tony Busby, recently convened a press conference prior to filing at which he claimed to represent 120 accusers making outrageous and deeply prejudicial allegations, including violent essay and sexual abuse of minors. These accusations came on the heels of more than a dozen lawsuits previously filed and currently pending, several of which have already been discredited, but only after irreparably damaging Mr. Combs' character and reputation. These swirling accusations have created a hysterical media circus that, if left unchecked, will irreparably deprive Mr. Combs of a fair trial, and if they haven't already. Side note, Tony Busby does state that they vet all the allegations, like I said. He stated to the New York Times that they have more than 100 screeners and 30 lawyers working on each allegation to vet it. And then I'm sure once they get vetted, Tony Busby and his attorneys that write these lawsuits, that file them, they're vetting once more. Mm-hmm. That's not me defending him or saying it must be true then. I'm just giving you both sides because it seems many netizens are wondering about the validity of so many lawsuits. Side note, a judge presiding over one of the cases where, if you remember from part 2, Jane Doe filed a lawsuit alleging she was gang essayed by Diddy and Harvey Pierre, then president of Bad Boy Records. She was flown on the private jet from Michigan. Yes, the judge granted Diddy's team motion to reveal her identity if she wants to continue pressing charges. The judge states, the court recognizes that public disclosure of Doe's identity could have a significant impact on her, particularly given the graphic and disturbing allegations in this case. They acknowledge that, but the court points to previous cases, stating, indeed, similar motions to proceed anonymously in sexual assault lawsuits involving public figures, including Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein, were likewise denied. For those reasons, and as further detailed, the court denies plaintiff's motion to remain anonymous.
Uh-oh.
I guess we will just have to wait and see if the others face the same situation. Diddy's attorneys have also asked the judge to impose a gag order of sorts. So this gag order seems more so towards the victims or the alleged victims and their legal representatives. They state, as the court is aware, Mr. Combs has been the target of an unending stream of allegations by prospective witnesses and their counsel in the press. These prospective witnesses and their lawyers have made numerous inflammatory extrajudicial statements aimed at assassinating Mr. Combs' character in the press. They have a whole list of articles as examples, one even being from Cassie's lawsuit, where after Diddy apologizes, if you will, for the hotel video, the hotel assault video being leaked, her attorney responds more or less that when Cassie and other victims came forward, he denied everything and suggested that everyone was looking for a payday. But now look, he's only compelled to apologize once his repeated denials were proven false, shows his pathetic desperation, and no one will be swayed by his disingenuous words. Mm-hmm. That is what Cassie's attorney said, which they're stating that it's prejudicial for an attorney to say that. Yeah, stating several of these lawyers have made shockingly prejudicial and false allegations of sexual assault and abuse of minors, the details of which need not be repeated. In another part of this filing, it reads, these statements undoubtedly threaten Mr. Combs' right to a fair trial, and no other remedies exist. This court should exercise its discretion in issuing an order requiring all potential witnesses and their counsel to refrain from making extrajudicial statements that have a likelihood to interfere with Mr. Combs' trial. Which a lot of people have a lot to say about Diddy's legal team. They are technically the dream team, if you will. The lineup of lawyers he has is out of this world. He has Mark Angafilo. He actually repped Keith Raniere, the leader of the Nixium cult.
Oh, wow.
Cult that was also charged with racketeering and sex trafficking. Keith Raniere was sentenced to 120 years in prison, so there's that. They have Anthony Rico, who most notably represented the secretary for Osama bin Laden, the World Trade Center bomber. Yeah, and then we have Alexandra Shapiro. She's particularly well known in high-profile white-collar criminal cases. She was a clerk for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rest in peace. She repped Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto FTX crypto fraud billionaire. Then we have Tenny Rose Garagos. She's the daughter of another famous attorney, Mark Garagos, who's actually representing the Menendez brothers in their fight to be released. So this is like a dream team. He's also repping the ketamine queen that's involved in Matthew Perry's overdose death case. He's known as like a Hollywood attorney. He's previously repped Chris Brown in the Rihanna assault case, as well as Michael Jackson in the CA allegations.
Yeah, he got some big moves.
Yes. I mean, truly the legal dream team. And they're coming in strong to his defense, which some people think is great. Others are like, this strategy is very strange. Because prior to Diddy's arrest back in December of 2023, Diddy took to Twitter to write, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I've sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and my truth." Sean Diddy Combs. So obviously a lot has changed in the past year. Diddy is now in prison with many more lawsuits headed his way, but it appears that he is adamant to fight this out. And I don't know if it's just him pushing his attorneys or if it's attorneys advising him. Some people think the attorneys are advising him to fight this out in trial because they make a lot more money if he does versus if he were to plead guilty. Some people are saying, why would he plead guilty when nobody likes him. He's never going to make a comeback. And even if he pleads guilty, likely he'll get nothing less than life in prison.
Wow.
The attorneys have made some very controversial statements, though. They emphasize, yes, Diddy is not a perfect person. He has used drugs in the past. He has been in, quote, toxic relationships. People hate that. People hate that. But they continue. But he's committed to getting therapy and treatment for things that he needs therapy and treatment for.
Yeah,
Again,
okay.
very vague. They argue the evidence in this case is extremely problematic. His attorneys are trying to dispute the trafficking charge by stating that these people are, quote, they're coming into this man's bedroom. Is it trafficking? Not if everybody wants to be there. The attorneys also state
That's crazy. They do everything in their power to make the victim sound horrible. Like they'll say things like that, like, well, if they didn't want to engage in any intercourse, then why would they go to his house to begin with? Why would they jump on a private plane? You know, why would they do all this? All this is just for a quick payday. But if you think about it, who would turn that down? Like, imagine your favorite actor or artist or executive or whoever it is met up with you, like, hey, man, you just won these tickets to go do this. Like, hey, come hang out with me for a day. Who's going to say no? Not too many people, right? Because they're seen on TV all the time, right? They're just public figures. So you wouldn't even imagine they would attempt to do something like that. They're an idol to people, you know? You're never supposed to idolize anybody, but they're an idol to people. And like, a lot of people are not going to turn that down, especially the minor age. You know, a lot of them not going to think about that kind of stuff. They're going to see the fame, the money, the cars, the houses, the jewelry. They're going to see all the little minuscule details, and that's going to make them want to be, oh, I want to see what it's like to live the lavish lifestyle. So yeah, they're going to do that. That's why I could not be in court. Like, once you get on that stand, they about to run you into the ground. They're going to bring up something that happened 2-3 years ago. They're going to make sure that you didn't have anything charges, like anything DUIs, all that stuff. Have you had any DUIs? You have a history of drinking alcohol, right? They're going to try to make you sound like the worst possible person to the courtroom because people don't know you. So their job is to paint you in this negative light in front of the jury so the jury can see that you may not be as reliable as you seem. You know what I mean? So it goes a lot into it.
that any sort of comparison with Diddy and R. Kelly or Diddy and Epstein doesn't make sense at all. Quote, this is different. These were consenting adults. There's evidence not of trafficking, but of being caught being unfaithful. He was in a 10-year loving relationship through dark periods. Again, alluding to Cassie's relationship with Diddy as a 10-year loving relationship with dark periods. Diddy's attorneys continue, Diddy has referenced the hotel footage as a human story of love, hurt, and heartbreak, which I have to say, I am human. I have also endured love, hurt, and heartbreak. I have never, not a single time in my life, in this little brain of mine, thought to beat someone up, To repackage domestic violence as love is honestly as unhinged as it humanly gets.
Facts.
They continue to state
That's
he
not
came to
love.
New York to basically engage the court system and start the case. And it will start today, and he's going to plead not guilty. He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and all the full confidence of his lawyers. He is dealing with this head on the way he has dealt with every challenge in his life, which is such an interesting moment for a motivational insert. One of his attorneys, Anthony Rico, states that Diddy is going to make the best of a difficult situation. Dr. King.
What does that mean?
Martin Luther King.
Whoa.
Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. Sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get. Recently, Diddy's attorneys have accused the U.S. government of leaking evidence to the media, including the hotel footage with Cassie. His attorneys state that they demand an evidentiary hearing to investigate, quote, government misconduct in connection with the leaks. They state that the alleged government leaks, quote, have led to damaging, highly prejudicial pretrial publicity that can only taint the jury pool and deprive Mr. Combs of a right to a fair trial. They state the hotel video is the most egregious example of the alleged misconduct by the government, stating one of a long and documented history of leaks and false statements made with one purpose: to savage Mr. Combs' reputation prior to trial. The leaks have resulted in damaging and highly prejudicial media coverage, particularly sensationalizing the investigation and involvement of Mr. Combs' family. Along with that, the attorneys have requested government agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, the one that raided his homes, to reveal emails, documents, records related to the alleged leaks, place a gag order that bar government personnel from disclosing case evidence or investigative material or even making statements, really, prior to the upcoming trial.
They are so scared.
Yeah,
They're like, please don't say no more.
Don't let them see anymore.
Yeah.
The prosecutors firmly deny such accusations, and a lot of people who have worked with the feds or have worked as a federal agent prior, they say the feds don't play with stuff like this. Like, the feds are the last people to leak stuff. I mean, maybe you could talk about your local sheriff's office. You could talk about state government. The feds do not play, because when the feds bring a case against someone, they're not jeopardizing anything.
Facts.
They're
give them
here
that
to
one.
win.
That's true.
Like, these feds do not play. They're not going to do something like leak a video so that the whole trial can get thrown out. They're not dumb.
I see.
Is what a lot of people who have worked with the feds say. The prosecutors also firmly deny the accusation. They state the government was not in possession of the video before its publication by CNN. There is thus no factual basis for the defendant's claim that the government leaked the video to CNN, essentially arguing, how can you leak something that you don't have? On top of that, the prosecutors are, this is like a bit of an exaggeration, but they're like coming from the man who's doing a full interview with TMZ, because the defense attorneys are saying the prosecutors keep making statements to the public and it's not making our client look good. It's like interfering with his right to a fair trial. And the prosecutors are like, Mark, didn't you just do a full interview with TMZ? They argue he basically accused the government of running a racist prosecution, which, okay, Mark stated, I think these are the statements that the prosecutors are alluding to. He stated, we are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man.
I wouldn't call him a music icon. I'll say he's an executive icon, maybe. He don't know nothing about no music. He has no talent. He rode the wave of all his artists. The dude is not talented. He's not talented. He just happens to be making money off of the artist, and y'all just happen to know him because he's been in every single photo. A lot of us know Diddy because, again, he's in every thumbnail. He's in every picture, so we've seen him all the time. I couldn't even name you any executives, maybe because I don't pay attention to the music industry, but I've been listening to like Lil Wayne and all them people for years. And I still don't know what their executive or producers or any of them look like.
And proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children and working to uplift the Black community. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with the investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. He also tries to dispute the trafficking charges.
Did he try to fly off?
It's a shakedown of a successful Black man. And they state that the federal agents are investigating him for sexual misconduct as, quote, a last vestige because Diddy's businesses are fine and he pays taxes. Yeah. So the prosecutors are like, you accused us of being racist We didn't leak anything, so.
That is a crazy, like, I wonder if they
It's a
didn't leak it and
scapegoat
who
thing they do in
did,
court.
Yeah.
and how much like pools and how many like powers or whatever is being, I don't know. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Side note, it seems like there could be a lot of strategies at play for accusing the government of leaking the video. One, it could get thrown out as evidence in the trial. So the jury could potentially not be shown the footage of him beating Cassie. However, I feel like there's going to be lots of other evidence that they will be seeing. Two, the lawyers could argue that this compromised his right to a fair trial and alleged prosecutorial misconduct, which would be a violation of Diddy's rights, which could potentially help it with a change of venue to be outside of New York or other accommodations. Like they could call for an evidentiary hearing, which the judge may grant to the defense to investigate the alleged leak, which could delay the proceedings, but potentially it would reveal more information to the defense attorneys about what the prosecutors are building their case on. Because they get some privy information like emails and communications between the prosecutors. Or in extreme, highly unlikely in this case, it could lead to a dismissal of the charges entirely, which is very highly unlikely in this case. Or it could just be a public play. Accuse the government of leaks, just cast a shadow of doubt on the integrity of the government, on the integrity of the judicial system. Just plant a seed in people's minds. It could be any of those.
Right.
It appears a lot of things are going to come to light during the trial. For example, Howard University had awarded Diddy with an honorary degree in 2014. But with all the new allegations, they have unanimously voted to rescind the degree. So they're like, we take it back. They state Mr. Combs' behavior, as captured in a recently released video, is so fundamentally incompatible with Howard University's core values and beliefs that he is deemed no longer worthy to hold the institution's highest honor.
What university?
Howard, which is actually where he went.
Right.
Yes, and what's so interesting is that Diddy did actually attend Howard, and in a Rolling Stone interview, they found a bunch of his former colleagues and peers, and they said that they could see his controlling and abusive side since way back when they were college kids. He was well known on campus before he was known as Diddy. They said that he was just the guy that threw insane college parties. He would drive a convertible around and pass out flyers to his parties. They were iconic. But some women at Howard knew to stay away from him. They would warn each other. One woman said Diddy would caress her back and kept asking her to meet his friends. Another woman essentially states, I didn't even go to his parties, but he tried to cut me in line in the cafeteria. And I said, that's not acceptable behavior. And he just, quote, flew off the handle. But the most alarming was a few interviewed said they were in the same class as Diddy and one of Diddy's girlfriends. And they just remember that he was pretty aggressive and violent with her. That they would see him beat his girlfriend. They alleged that he would beat his girlfriend in college. They remember hearing him screaming outside the dorms in a, quote, belligerent manner. And once the dorm mates were told, Puff is out there crazy, he's just like beating his girlfriend. So if he was acting like that in college, in front of all of his college classmates, people say, I mean, he's a narcissist. He thinks he can explain. He actually wants a trial at this point. Another just writes, given his level of arrogance, he would probably enjoy a trial and watch everyone go down with him. I think he wants to see these victims cross-examined, especially Cassie, because it can be very traumatizing.
But you say like the whole thing right now is going to be private, right? The trial.
The trial it's in federal court. So federal cases, they don't allow in cameras and they allow in a very select group of press. And family and the public. So like you would have to either queue in line. Sometimes you would have to get press badges to get in. Like this one I think is going to be highly regulated. It's not going to be live streamed on, anywhere. Yeah.
And I wish I can go sit in it.
It's going to be a very intense trial. Federal prosecutors are known to be absolutely ruthless. Typically, I mean, take that as you will. And they've made statements that they might not even be done with Diddy on these charges alone. Additionally, there's conversations that there might be further weapons and drug charges tacked on to the long list of accusations and charges that Diddy will be facing in court. Because you remember there were the assault rifles found in his Miami home? They were found with the serial numbers defaced, which you're not supposed to do. It is
Altered.
illegal in most jurisdictions because it makes it really hard to trace the weapon's origin and ownership history.
Yes. Yes, you cannot do that. You cannot scratch off the serial number, obviously, if it's altered or stuff like that, because then it's considered a ghost weapon and the government's not able to track it. But now it's getting to the point to where we're running into trouble because there's a such thing as 3D printing. A lot of you guys like, what, 3D printing? Yes. People know how to make guns out of a 3D printer. That's the problem they're running into as of right now is the 3D printers. People are using 3D printers to make weapons and other things that neglects the law. Like pretty much it's a loophole, like a loophole around it. But do your own research. Don't take my word for it and look into that yourself.
Why would you not want that traced? Also, the fact that the rifles are disassembled, experts say, strongly suggests deliberate attempts to evade detection and law enforcement, which could be viewed as evidence of criminal intent. It seems like Diddy's attorneys suggested that it belonged to Diddy's security detail, but the prosecutors hit back. I don't dispute that Mr. Combs has used armed security, but it is incredulous that armed security in a professional security company would have defaced AR-15s and store them in pieces in the defendant's personal closet. That is just absurd. It's also said the defendant, Diddy, tested positive for ecstasy and or other drugs. The prosecutors state they may file and bring a superseding indictment, meaning more potential charges, once all the data from the seized devices are extracted, which has been reported, like I said, 100 devices with 90 terabytes of data on there.
90 terabytes?
Is a lot of data. Now, just to be clear, there could be years and years of music. There could be all of the security footage from his home that just was never reset or replaced or deleted. There's no indication that 90 terabytes of data is all nefarious, but just to give you an idea of how much is on there, that's about 18,000 movies. 22 and a half full-length movies, or about 45 hours of video content, or 18 million songs.
Wow.
That's a lot
of data.
It's a lot to
I hope they got the right house, because remember, Christian was like, they got the wrong house.
To Diddy's case.
Now, I want to be clear about two things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
And I would not doubt them. This is the Southern District of New York. They are widely regarded as one of the most aggressive federal prosecutors' offices in the entire nation. All the attorneys in that office are typically highly respected in the legal community. I don't know about loved, but highly respected, highly feared. They're known to be winners. They don't come to play. There are a lot of conspiracies surrounding the Diddy case, though. The four main ones, well, I want to say like the three main ones circulating being Diddy has been cloned. There are tunnels under Diddy's LA mansion that lead to the Playboy mansion. And three, that Diddy openly blackmailed the people on the so-called Diddy list by reading out their names on Instagram. So let's break down each of the conspiracies really quick. One, the clone conspiracy. This is similar to the conspiracy theory that Epstein was replaced in prison and the real Epstein is not dead. He's somewhere out there. People on social media have been analyzing Diddy's face pre-arrest. The main point of contention being he has this mole on his cheek, and they are comparing those photos to a supposed mugshot and noticing that his facial features are different. Mainly in this supposed mugshot, his mole is gone.
His nose is thinner too.
And they're like, how does the mole disappear, right? Now, the problem here is the mugshot that's been circulating is not Diddy's actual mugshot. There were some issues. The first mugshot circulating of him was a real mugshot, but it was from the 90s. So obviously he's going to look a little bit different. He's going to look definitely more aged now. That was when he was previously arrested. The second mugshot of him circulating is not his mugshot. His mugshot from his 2024 arrest has yet to be released.
Are you saying it's an AI photo?
I don't know if it's AI. I don't know if it's photoshopped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is not, I'm sure you already know exactly what mugshot I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen it. But that's not a real photo. Wow.
No, yeah, which generally mugshots are public record.
AI is scary, I'm telling you.
People are like, it has to be his mugshot because why isn't his mugshot out there? Authorities in certain jurisdictions are becoming a bit more cautious about releasing mugshots due to the privacy concern about potential reputational harm prior to a trial. So to make the conspiracy even deeper, Diddy's private jet has been reported to be operating and flying around the world, making various stops in places like New Zealand. So you have a group of people who believe this is his mugshot and they think he looks nothing like the mugshot, so it must be a clone or a lookalike. And then another group of people who understand that's likely not his mugshot, but it's weird. Why did they not release his mugshot? They quote, "In all seriousness, where is his mugshot? If not a mugshot, a video of the bail hearing? Anything showing that he's actually in jail? The hotel arrest video is not enough for me. I want to see some evidence." Which, side note, like I said, there's no cameras in the court hearings or trial hearings or anything in federal court. So the fact that there's no footage of him is par for the course, but people think it's weird. And as for the private jet, I will say, it is not unusual for wealthy individuals to charter their jets when they're not using it, especially in Diddy's case, where he might even be looking to sell the aircraft, according to his attorneys. He's in jail. He's not using it. His daughter's passports were given to his attorneys. I'm not sure if his sons are flying around or if it's family friends, unclear, or if it's being chartered or if it's being flown around to be propositioned for a sale. So again, it's not the most alarming. The second theory, though, the conspiracy, is that there are tunnels under Diddy's mansion that lead to the Playboy Mansion. Following the raids of Diddy's homes, there were these social media posts, screenshots of a supposed CNN broadcast that suggested authorities had found underground tunnels inside of Diddy's house, which everyone thought was weird, strange. And then later, he's indicted for trafficking. Everyone is wondering, what are those supposed tunnels being used for then? Sex trafficking tunnels? I mean, that makes sense, but those tunnels have to lead somewhere. And where would they be leading to that would make sense? Interestingly enough, the Playboy Mansion, which there are trafficking theories around the Playboy Mansion and the Playboy magazine and all of that, is only a few houses down. It's not on the same street, but it's a few houses down.
So Hugh Hefner was in that, or afterwards?
Circulating. And for years, there have actually been rumors that there are Playboy hidden tunnels under the Playboy Mansion. Mm-hmm. And now Diddy's house allegedly has tunnels? Mm-hmm. According to a Playboy magazine article, it's since been deleted, but one of the Playboy editors had been pulling photos for a project they were working on when they found what looked like these archived Polaroids of what looks like someone taking pictures behind the Playboy Mansion, but all the dirt is dug up. It looks like an excavation is taking place. Some sort of large-scale project is being done on the mansion. They ask their managers about the Polaroids they found. Why are they digging so much? What's going on? He just tells them nonchalantly, oh, it's probably from when they built the tunnels in the 70s. The what? The editor starts looking for more things. Wait, what tunnels? Like, what do you mean tunnels? I haven't seen tunnels. Sure enough, they claim that they found blueprints of tunnels that connect the Playboy Mansion to other wealthy homes in the area, in the very wealthy billionaires row of Los Angeles.
So they were going and trafficking people underneath the houses so they're not seen leaving the house. I'm like, what? I was at home all day and they don't have no proof. If you see all the celebrities digging holes in their backyard, then I'll probably raise a red flag. Maybe one person built the tunnels and then kind of like they all just chipped in so that each tunnel could be like a little ant maze, you know what I mean? And if it connects to Diddy house, you better believe it's connected to more people's houses over there.
But how come the editors didn't know about the tunnels? One colleague tells him, oh yeah, I heard they were closed up sometime in the 80s. So like maybe 10 years after they were built. Now the whole tunnel thing has been shut down by Playboy.com and Hugh Hefner himself, which take that as you will. The article they posted was published on April 1st. Does that mean it's an April Fool's prank, or are they just in hindsight saying, never mind, that was an April Fool's joke? That's up for debate. But how does this connect to Diddy? It's said that the houses, like I said, are a few houses down, and maybe the tunnels are connected. But it seems like largely there are not hidden tunnels under the Playboy Mansion. And in addition, that CNN screenshot that was circulating that showed authorities discovering underground tunnels in Diddy's mansion, they're not real. It's a fake screenshot.
So no evidence. It's just rumors right now.
Yeah, it's been largely debunked. I don't want to say it's not true because what do I know? I've never been down there to investigate, but it just doesn't seem... It doesn't seem like it exists. The only place it seems that there is a statement of some sort of tunnel in Diddy's home is on his real estate listing for his now on the market mansion, stating that it has a, quote, lagoon-style swimming pool with a grotto connected by an underwater swimming tunnel. And these are, like, small, typically. And they're fun pools.
I see.
So as for right now, it seems like this conspiracy is not verified and or true and is likely false. Now, third, the conspiracy is Diddy was blackmailing people, A-list celebrities, out in the open from his Diddy's list. There is this odd video, perhaps he's threatening them. He's sitting in front of the massive metal Kim Porter bust of his LA mansion with this young boy in his lap, and he starts listing names from a paper, and the little boy starts yelling those names out. Drake. Jennifer Lopez, A-Rod, Will Smith, Alicia Keys, Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Snoop, DJ Khaled, Chris Brown, Naomi Campbell, Jessica Alba, Usher, Demi Lovato, Diplo, Cara Delevingne.
Kevin Hart? I mean, I could have seen, maybe. That's Alicia Keys? Yo, I used to be bumping Alicia Keys, bruh.
The conspiracy being, these are all people on the Diddy's list that he is now blackmailing out in the open. He's telling them, hey, stay in line. But it has been debunked. This is the list of all the people that were going to be part of his online dance-a-thon during COVID to raise money for charity, which did in fact happen. They
Online what?
Dance-a-thon.
What's that?
They dance on live stream for charity.
Oh.
And they all got on camera and danced on live stream with Diddy. So they were like live streaming with him. So they didn't go to his house or anything.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so because quarantine. Regardless, people are heavily spreading and side-eyeing this video and the list of names. Now, I do want to mention before we head into the so-called Diddy's list, even the term Diddy's list has been penned by social media users. There is no official list, at least none that we know of and that authorities have released. Some people have taken to creating their own versions of lists on social media, and some of them just about include everyone in Hollywood that has ever been to any single party or function that Diddy was at, which is quite a lot of functions. I think Diddy was an unavoidable connection in the industry. People wanted to be around him. They wanted to party with him. But if he was a serial abuser like the claims allege, it's still very unlikely that all of Hollywood knew about it. I think that a lot of people probably did. To what degree, I don't know. I mean, I think to the degree that he was violent with women, maybe more likely than the freak-offs or these alleged other incidents. But it doesn't seem like he was abusing everyone he could get his hands on and trying to victimize every celebrity or rope them into things, or that everybody that was friends with Diddy knew what he was allegedly doing. This is not a defense of Hollywood, by the way. I think Hollywood has so many problems, right?
Facts.
But I just don't think every single person in Hollywood knew, was complicit, and participated.
I
The
agree.
authorities have not stated that they are looking into anyone else. None of these people, at least to our knowledge, have been questioned, investigated, or charged. I think we're heading into somewhat dangerous territory where we're just running with rumors without significant evidence, and it could be detrimental to many people's lives. So I'm going to run down the list of names that have popped up in most of the research in association with Diddy and the Diddy's list, and explain to you why some netizens believe that they are either perpetrators alongside Diddy or are victims of Diddy. But again, none of these people have been investigated, charged, or convicted of anything related to Diddy. Even Diddy himself is innocent till proven guilty for the current charges that he faces. So this is just me recapping online discourse that you can find online. I'm not taking one side or the other. I'm just trying to present all the sides. The first being on the list, Ashton Kutcher. There are a few pieces of media and backstory on
I
why
never
people
thought he
think
was a great
Ashton Kutcher is
actor.
connected to Diddy. He was pictured at many of Diddy's white parties, going as far to host one with Diddy. He has a long-standing friendship with Diddy. I will say Ashton Kutcher, the pieces of media that are being dug up and found and reposted, it's definitely weird. Yeah.
I mean, I like
that's all I
Punk.
can say.
Punk
It's
was
weird.
okay, but
At the 2003
I
MTV
didn't think it was
Movie
that
Awards,
cool.
Ashton and Diddy are presenting the award for the best villain. Davy Chase, who played the little girl in the Ring movie, she was 13 years old, I believe, at the time of this award. She wins the award, comes onto stage where Ashton Kutcher hugs her, Diddy's kissing her cheek, which a lot of netizens don't like how they constantly feel the need to physically be in contact with this little girl that is not like a family member. It's just kind of weird. People are stating, right? But you get to make your own decision on that. Later, though, this is the weird part. Backstage, Diddy asks this little girl if she's coming to the after party. But the way that netizens believe that he is looking at her is very bizarre. So he's not even trying to play into the, oh, you're 13 in Hollywood. It's not like, are you going to come to the after party? Parents need to come with you. It's not even like that. It's like he's sipping his drink and peering over his sunglasses at her. People thought it was very predatory looking. She just nods her head and he says, yeah, about her coming to the after party.
Coming to the after party tonight?
Yeah, she was super
right
uncomfortable.
now, there is a lawsuit against Diddy that he allegedly essayed a 13-year-old girl at an awards after party, which, just to clarify, this is not Jane Doe in the lawsuit. The timeline and ages don't match, so I'm not even insinuating that. But netizens believe this clip now feels very sinister given the new lawsuit. In 2008, the two of them, Ashton Kutcher and Diddy, were on the Late Late Show with James Corden, where Ashton said,
by the way, if you're a single man, like there's probably no greater human being in the world. This is 20 years.
If you're a single man, there's no greater person
in the world than Diddy to hang out with.
What? How's that?
Yeah.
That's a weird statement.
In a Hot Ones interview in 2019, he's asked about Diddy's party stories by the amazing host, to which he responds, yeah, wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. This is Ashton Kutcher. He looks like he starts thinking about them, what happened at the parties, and he says, I'm like cycling through them right now. We became fast friends, we used to hang out, watch football together. It's just kind of an odd clip.
The eyes never lie.
There are the allegations swirling that Ashton and Mila Kunis were breaking up, divorcing recently. To which one alleged source states, Ashton has no involvement in any of this. He doesn't even belong in this conversation with Diddy, because people are saying, if they're going to break up, why would they be breaking up right now? They have children together. Is it because Diddy was arrested? Is it because of all this Diddy stuff that's going on? So does that mean he's involved with Diddy? Because why else would she break up with him? So the source says Ashton has only seen Diddy in a handful of social and business events, all of which have been documented by the media. But some netizens disagree. Some netizens even link Brittany Murphy's death to Kim Porter and Diddy. So if you recall in part 2, Diddy's longtime girlfriend and mother to his 4 children, Kim Porter, died of pneumonia. Many netizens and even some family members have been hinting that they should have a second investigation into Kim Porter's death.
I agree with that.
But netizens also pointed out that pneumonia is not the most fatal condition. I'm not saying it's not fatal, but netizens are saying as long as you have access to high quality healthcare, you don't have a compromised immune system, and you are otherwise young and healthy, which by all accounts it seems Kim Porter was, the way she passed was just weird to netizens. Side note, Brittany Murphy is Ashton Kutcher's ex-girlfriend. They were dating a while. Ashton was publicly seen often with Diddy and with Brittany Murphy. So they all clearly had some sort of working relationship or friendship, it seems. Brittany Murphy passed away from pneumonia as well. After she and Ashton break up. She's remarried at this point. Interestingly enough, her husband passes away from pneumonia a few months later. There's a lot more to their deaths. Her husband was allegedly friends with a personal trainer that was friends with Diddy. There's some other connections there. There's a lot. The part that people are focusing on right now is Brittany Murphy was connected to Ashton Kutcher. Kim Porter was connected to Diddy, and both women died suspiciously, in some people's opinions, at a relatively young age from pneumonia. And the coroner who did their reports after their deaths are the same person. To be fair, they were both in LA County, so it makes sense. But some people think it's very strange.
I think that's very odd.
A step further. Netizens have stated that if you look up baby oil, and if it's harmful to you by ingestion, it's usually minimally toxic. So it's minimally toxic if you ingest baby oil. But if you accidentally breathe baby oil, you could get serious complications called aspiration pneumonia. I don't know if this is a solid link. I will say the theory goes really, really deep. There's a lot more that netizens have been pointing out, but I think that would warrant a whole new episode into Brittany Murphy's death and the death of her husband, because there's just a lot. I will say Ashton Kutcher being on this so-called social media penned Diddy's list is less of, because some of the other celebrities, it's like they posted pictures together. They said we're besties, right? And it's kind of like, okay, well, we don't really know. Ashton Kutcher, I will say, does have a shady history. He has made very bizarre comments about waiting for young celebrities to turn 18. He said Hilary Duff is in the Lizzie McGuire movie.
And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18.
She was 15 years old when he said that. Then him and his now wife, Mila Kunis, did an interview where they talked about their time on the 70s show, where Ashton was 19 at the time, had a $10 bet with another co-star to go and make out with Mila Kunis. He's 19, she was 14. Yeah. Mila says about the incident, you made a bet with Danny about my first kiss. I had never kissed a guy. I was a 14-year-old girl. I was scared for my life. Which, side note, Danny that they're referring to is a man named Danny Masterson. He was an actor that was accused and convicted of 2 women in his Hollywood Hills home. He was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. It stated that he drugged and violently essayed his victims, which the part that's alarming is Ashton and Mila Kunis wrote character letters supporting him prior to the sentencing. They wrote to the judge. They stated that Ashton viewed Danny as a role model and knows him as a, quote, an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being. Which, yeah, essay is
Not
pretty
even.
intentional, so.
It's crazy,
He states
bro.
that he trusts Danny with his own children. Mila Kunis described Danny Masterson as having, quote, exceptional character and, quote, innate goodness, which, what? The worst part of all of this is that Ashton ran Thorn, an anti-child abuse organization that he co-founded with his ex-wife Demi Moore. He has since stepped down, but people are even side-eyeing this formation of the organization, wondering if he's overcompensating for something. Allegedly, again, not alleging that he did anything, just stating it's weird. Like, how can you have this organization and have so many shady friends?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Demi Moore, his ex-wife, she also wrote in her book that Ashton cheated on her multiple times. She was insecure about being older than him, and she describes in her book that she was pressured into having threesomes with Ashton, and that was ultimately one of the reasons why their relationship and marriage fell apart.
Did she say with who?
People are following with the Diddy case. There's a lot of group activities that are being alleged. So that's just another somewhat of an association connection that people are drawing together. Whether it's by fact or not, I can't tell you. He's also had some other small controversies, like a football coach was fired for allegedly essaying a minor. Ashton tweeted, "How do you fire Joe Pa? Hashtag insult. Hashtag no class. As a Hawkeye fan, I find it in poor taste," which he later claims he didn't know the reason of the coach's termination and he fully recants the tweet. But people just think...
I mean, that's kind of weird to be a Hawkeyes fan and then state after, well, I didn't know why he got fired, but you're a Hawkeyes fan. How wouldn't you know what happened if you're as much as a fan as you say you are? You know what I mean? That's like someone getting traded from your favorite team and you're like, oh, well, I didn't know they got traded. Bro, yes, you do. You got a fantasy football league team, bro. You know stats like the back of your hand, bro. People can remember stats, but not their kids' birthdays. That's how serious some people take sports, bro. Like, they'll forget their wife's birthday, but they will not forget when somebody scored a touchdown in 1984. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that, bro. He's a weirdo. I knew it. His acting was just terrible. I know, contrary to popular belief, Kevin Hart is not funny either. I wouldn't even doubt it. You know what I mean? I've always thought that Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams was super hilarious. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't put it past people and some of these celebrities, because I be watching some of these movies and I'm just like, this is not funny. But it could just be me, you know what I mean? But I just feel like movies are not what they used to be back then, you know what I mean? I don't think they're funny anymore. I feel like they're appealing to a certain audience now. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore. I find myself watching older movies than newer movies, unless it's just like a movie that I used to watch from from growing up, like Final Destination, like that new Final Destination movie. I might go check that out. But other than that, the new movies just don't hit the same anymore.
A lot of similarly related controversies that he's been embroiled in. Mm-hmm. And same arena as some of the controversies and allegations against Diddy. After Diddy's arrest and netizens linking them to Diddy, there are brief rumors that Ashton and Mila are on the brink of splitting up, but like I said, it was shut down as absolutely false and ridiculous by a close source to the couple. But there are rumors now going around that Ashton and Mila are, quote, done with Hollywood and have considered moving to Europe. It's claimed that they took the kids to Europe over the summer and they said it was so much more normal.
I miss
than
Germany,
Hollywood.
man.
A source told In Touch, Ashton's so exasperated that once again he is being dragged through the mud because of his past associations. First it was Danny Masterson and now it's Diddy, and it's got him convinced that there's way better places out there to live than Hollywood. In his view, this town is just a cesspool at this point. Which, side note, this move is not confirmed, and I do want to clarify, it does not appear like they're running or hiding from authorities. There's no open investigation into them. The feds don't seem interested in them at all, at least as of right now. It just seems like they're, quote, over Hollywood. However, netizens are having a field day with that statement, writing, they make it sound like Hollywood set them up. They chose to write letters defending and supporting a rapist.
Right.
One comment reads, had it with Hollywood? More like, had it with the consequences of Hollywood. Babes, you are the problem that you speak of. You brought every ounce of this on your own heads. Kutcher's monstrous friends tell you all you need to know about him as a person. He seems so involved in these circles. Another comment just reads, dude is consistent. Another reads, Danny Masterson and now Sean Combs. Ashton definitely knows something. That's why he's moving to Europe. His work with an organization to combat child trafficking seems incredibly suspect as well now. Again, this is a random internet comment, but it shows you some of the sentiments out there. Another one also reads, isn't he supposed to be fighting trafficking? I'm not gonna lie, it makes my skin crawl thinking of how perfect of a cover that is. Some netizens wish to remain neutral till more information comes out, and they comment, "You'll find pics and videos of Diddy with practically anyone. He was the embodiment of the celebrity party for decades. I don't think everyone deserves to be guilty by association, but I think a lot of people's skeletons will be let out of the closet now." Then you have Leonardo DiCaprio. The main piece of information circulating online putting Leo into the Diddy's list, the so-called Diddy's list, is a 73 questions interview Diddy did with Vogue, where he's asked, top guest at white parties?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And with Leonardo DiCaprio's penchant for only dating young women, some social media netizens did not appear surprised by the association. Now, just a reminder, there are a lot of pictures of lots of celebrities at white parties, including Leonardo DiCaprio, but it does not mean that they knew something that we didn't know. Then there are rumors that Leonardo DiCaprio was fleeing the country since Diddy's news emerged, but that has turned out to be false. One source close to Leo states, Leonardo DiCaprio has nothing to do with any of this. He attended a few of his parties back in the early 2000s, but literally everybody did. They were not freak-offs, they were big house parties. Leo was at the start of his career at the time and has moved way past his partying days. He has nothing to do with any of that world. So for anyone to assume that he will get roped into this based on a few grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous. To which many netizens agree, though some are still not fans of his dating tendencies. They write, I'm all for tracking down criminals, but getting a photo taken at a party in broad daylight is hardly evidence of wrongdoing. Some are still skeptical of Leo, stating, says he hasn't seen Diddy in 20 years, but there's a photo of him at Diddy's party in 2019, which was his 50th massive birthday party, which like all of Hollywood was invited to be fair. It appears Leonardo DiCaprio's connection to Diddy is at least public facing, much thinner. Feels like a few photos, and then maybe people are like, well, he also dates a lot of young girls. I think it's more so people's sentiment about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
I could see the connection is how netizens feel. But I couldn't find a lot of concrete, pieces of media connecting them. Then there's Kevin Hart. There are videos of Kevin Hart hosting parties for Diddy. One viral clip, there's a girl in the bathtub, and she's clothed, like she has a bikini. And in the bathtub, her hair catches on fire on one of the nearby candles, which I think people were upset about. Because regardless of Kevin Hart's supposed friendship with Diddy, they write, notice how a woman's hair is literally on fire, and instead of helping her, Kevin Hart moves away and asks if the camera caught that. What a moment to show blatant disregard for the lives and safety of individuals there.
Wait. This is, what kind of context is the video?
Oh, he's just like, oh my God, we're at this crazy party at this house. And then her hair.
I think people looking in too far to it now. Like, I get it. Her hair did catch on fire, but I mean, everybody's not going to run and do no one stepped in and did anything. And then first thing people say, well, Kevin Hart didn't, I mean, it is, Kevin Hart's goofy. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do goofy stuff. He does goofy things all the time. If you watch Kevin Hart, that's what he does all the time. If he's on ESPN, if he's on some type of interview, he's goofy. He's always doing something goofy. That's just who Kevin Hart is. So it's, he makes the serious situations funny. That's what he does. But take it with you as you must. I've seen the video. Some of the parts where Diddy just pop up, it is kind of weird. I'm not going to lie to you, but that hair scene is kind of reaching. Like, would you have ran and jumped in the water like, oh no, your hair's on fire? Like, she's already in water. Just put the water on your hair. You know what I mean? But tub is surrounded by candles. Why would you lean your head into the candle? You see, they're all around you, but it is what it is.
Catches on fire on one of the candles, and he gets up, and everyone just like runs away from her, does not help her, and he asks the camera if you caught that, her hair catching on fire. So this is
crazy.
This was brought up because of the association between Kevin Hart and Diddy. But then now the further conversation, the deeper conversation netizens are having is, look at the blatant disregard for a woman's safety. On top of the association with Diddy, a lot of netizens don't like it. They're not accusing him. They just don't like it. And
I
we
wouldn't say it's a
cannot
women's
like
safety
stuff.
thing. I just call
in
it
another
being
clip of
unaware
a
of your
party, Diddy is
surroundings, 'cause the
standing
whole
there with Usher
tub
and
of
Kevin
little
Hart.
candles.
This clip has gone viral. Diddy has his arm around Usher and talks about, quote, back in the day when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, when Usher was like 10 and I was a little bit older, I was his older brother. We used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. We used to actually wrestle for the Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, that part was weird.
What the f*** did Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this with me. And we're streaming live. That was stupid.
Diddy is talking about this.
Yeah, and Kevin Hart is seen laughing and runs up to the camera and says, what the f*** did Puff just say? Which this clip has gone viral for anything Diddy has said that is weird. What the f*** did Puff just say? That was stupid. What the f*** did he just say? Kevin Hart was tracked by paparazzi after the allegations have started coming to light against Diddy. He was asked if he saw baby oil at Diddy's parties when he hosted them, and he responds to the paparazzi, "When I hosted for Diddy? You asking the wrong person the wrong question, man. That's not a good question." They continue to ask, "Do you think he's safe in jail?" He responds again, "Wrong person, wrong question." One comment reads, "First time Kevin hasn't actually said anything. Usually he's so talkative." Another comment reads, "Why the f would he be talkative now though? Like, use your brain. What the f you want him to say? Y'all are weird." So some are defending him, some think it's weird. Then there's Paris Hilton. She was spotted at many a Diddy parties, and with the lawsuits alleging that Marriott was named in one of the lawsuits, there are some people drawing this connection between Paris Hilton, the Hilton hotels, to Diddy and trafficking, because of course hotels are always at the center of trafficking claims. To be fair with this association, I do think Paris Hilton, I don't know about the Hilton hotel business. I don't know what they have been accused of wrongdoing in the past or not. To be fair, I think Paris Hilton was at all the parties back then. I think it would be harder to find an A-list star-studded party in which she was not in attendance. Many netizens' comments read, "Not everyone who attended his parties attended his freak-offs." Another reads, "I think there's levels to this. There are people who knew about everything going on at these parties, and there are people that would just show up to the parties. It was probably just a wild party back then. And so in these interviews, when you see people being like, 'Oh, Diddy throws the wildest parties,' they're probably not referring to freak-offs. They're probably just saying, 'Oh, there was like synchronized swimmers.'" Then there's Naomi Campbell, who was rumored to be on the Epstein flight logs as well. She was rumored to have potentially been dating Diddy in 2001. They did a photo shoot together, but she shut it down, stating they're more like family. In 2018, Naomi has said about Diddy, "I love his company, I love his demeanor, I love his love towards me, and I love our friendship. He's very private, but people who know him know he's loyal. He's been loyal to me for so many years. We've known each other for 20-something years and have been consistently the same. We really do have a brother-sister relationship, and I adore him." She actually threw him a big birthday party for his 54th birthday just 1 week before Cassie filed her lawsuit. And after Cassie filed her lawsuit, she deleted all posts of her and Diddy and has remained silent on the issue since then. Some
Crazy.
netizens write, "She's an iconic model, but she's always been a horrible person." This is an opinion. She has multiple assault charges over the years for attacking her staff, which there does seem to be a whole thing with that. And another writes, "She's beautiful, but she's always been a huge red flag. She stole from a poverty relief foundation by spending it on luxury hotel rooms and spa treatments. Just how low can one go?" Which she has denied
man.
that she intentionally stole from a charity or used charity funds, but she has been barred from being on any sort of charity board or organization for a number of years in the United Kingdom, because it is said that some of the charity, only 8% of the charity was being used for charity work. And a lot of the donations were somehow traced back to luxury hotel spa treatment.
I'm going to end it right here, guys. If you enjoyed, man, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This video is by Rotten Mango, so if you haven't already, make sure you swoop down that description box, click on the link and watch this video in entirety, because I was pausing, stopping, and talking through the whole thing. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Zems, and welcome to the Crow's Nest. I don't know what to expect, man. Like, at this point, man, Ashton Kutcher and whatever that girl named Mia Cont is, or whatever, you just don't know, man. And then the Marriott Hotel, Paris Hilton, I don't know. I honestly feel like if you attended more than I'll probably say about 1 to 3 parties, you knew what's going on, bro. There's no way. Maybe back then it started off as regular parties to kind of like test the water to see where everybody was at. But even then, I still feel like every now and again, I feel like you had to know what was happening, because one person that consistently said he went to one Diddy party and he would leave was Denzel Washington. Denzel said he would go there and then he left after he seen all that. Ice Cube said he went there one time, he seen what it was, and he left, and he did not come back. It was just weird. So if all these people are saying the first couple of 2-3 parties was that, I don't care if it was in the 2000s, I don't care if it was in the 1900s. If you went there, he's been doing this for years. It's not just one time like, okay, we did one party, let's step this up and make it as wild as we can get it. No, you've been making it wild. You just got more money, more contributors, and it just started getting more out of pocket as time went by. And no one says the same thing about you for years on years on years. I mean, but like you said, he's innocent until proven guilty. A lot of people are going to ride the wave. Some people lie. As I said, not all those accusations may be true, but I think a lot of them are true. I think a lot of A-list celebrities probably would know about that. A lot of the up-and-coming people would know a little bit about that because they try to convict you and get you to do stuff that you don't want to do in order to get, you know, where you want to be. At the end of the day, man, we're just going to have to find out, wait and see what happens. Even at the end of the day, no matter what the judge, no matter what the outcome is of the trial, we will never know the truth because we were not there. We were never there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. If no one told you today, I love you.